Hello, welcome back to Truth Seekers Tea. My name is Kate, and I want to thank you for being here for today's pick a card reading. I want to let you guys know that for this month of April, I'll probably continue it. I'm going to be doing a free reading giveaway, so all you need to do to enter to win either a love or a guidance reading, depending on whatever you want, you just need to make sure that you like this video, leave any comment down below, and make sure you're subscribed and that you have your notifications on so you can be notified when I announce the winner at the end of this month. So with that being said, today's pick a card reading is going to be about why this connection with this person needed to end, or why there needed to be a time period of separation. And I say that because for some of you guys, it could be that this connection needed a pause or it needed to end completely. But I am just going to be speaking about why there needed to be a disconnection from the person that you maybe are still thinking about. Maybe you still have feelings about them and you want some closure on why separation was needed. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So for pile number 1, we have this bow and arrow card that talks about hitting your target with the black obsidian crystal. For pile number 2, we have this, I don't even remember what these are called, but like this timepiece hourglass with the orange calcite crystal. And for pile number 3, we have this moon with this blue calcite crystal. So go ahead and take whatever time you need to pick the pile that you feel drawn to. This definitely could be a reading where you are drawn to multiple piles, and it may be that there are multiple situations that Spirit would want you to hear about, or that would be helpful to you to hear about. So as always, just make sure that you are using your intuition and not trying to force a story to fit that doesn't feel like it's fitting, because it may just mean that it's not the right message for you, or it's not your pile, or it may be that just that specific part of it was not meant to be taken on. So I'll have the timestamps linked down below. I'll also have an extended reading. I'll be determining what we're going to go into, kind of dependent on your pile and the energies that come through. So stay tuned for that. And other than that, I really appreciate any support that you guys are giving. Any interaction with the channel is super helpful. Any donations and just participating in the extended readings really go a long way in helping me create a more sustainable work-life balance in regards to making tarot readings. So thank you for that. But without further ado, let's get to your pile. I will see you there. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. We're going to be looking at why the connection with the person that you have on your mind needed to end. So keep in mind that this could be a connection that comes back around, but as of right now, we're just going to be focusing on how this connection was no longer serving you, or it was no longer meant to be a part of your life, and we're just going to be giving you closure on why that is. So Spirit, please help me into pile number 1's energy. I do want to do a short energy check-in. I'll be asking where you're at right now emotionally and thought-wise about this connection, just to help you feel sure that this is your pile. And we'll just be spending a few minutes on that, and then we'll be looking more deeply in. So where's pile number 1 at with their feelings about this? We have the 8 of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Cups in reverse. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse. Where's pile number 1 at with this connection? We have the Tower. We have the 5 of Cups. And we also have the 4 of Wands. Okay. And the Ace of Cups. For you guys, pile number 1, I'm getting this feeling that there's this energy about you guys right now where I'm hearing the Oracle card that says everything that isn't in alignment needs to go. And so there's just this feeling with the 8 of Pentacles coming out first as well, that it feels like you're in a time period right now where you may be focused on your ambitions, your goals, focusing on your craft. And it's almost like you're in this more grounded energy. With the Knight of Cups in reverse, there's a feeling of maybe in the past you were someone, and you still have this about yourself, but it's this transitionary time period where you're going through, where I feel like you've had a very open heart space throughout your life, and it has maybe led you to invest your energy in situations that weren't really furthering your own cause, or they weren't building something stable for you. And so with the Arrow card here, there's a sense of you having to backtrack in order to move forward. With this arrow, it's like this need in order to hit your goal. And this could be your manifestations, or where you want your life to be at, who you want to be surrounded with, and what kind of energy you want in your life, like what kind of success it is. There's this feeling of you needing to clear out any energy that hasn't really been returned to you, or any connections with people that are past their due date, or don't really deserve your cup of love, is the main thing I would get. And so it just feels like this right now, the way that you're feeling about it is probably in this energy of feeling hurt that certain people, and maybe this exact person, has disappointed you or hasn't come through for you emotionally in the way that you've been there for them. And there's just this energy of not having a solid support from this person, or maybe there's even multiple people. Yeah. And with the Knight of Swords in reverse, it's almost like you may have been the person that was very dedicated to the people around you, or was quick to be loving, quick to be open. And it just almost feels like with the Tower being here, it may be that certain connections in your life weren't able to mirror that back to you. And so it's like you're in this era right now of working on putting in energy towards things that are more about you, and more are going to be a foundation for you, are going to support you. So this just feels like this is an era that's more about you, and where you're more careful about who's deserving of your love and who isn't. And so I feel like this connection would somehow relate to this current energy that you're in. So that's where I'm going to go in regards to the energy check. And also, I pre-pulled this oracle card, which is the Mystical Sister card. And so this makes me feel like whatever connection this was, it's almost like this wasn't someone that was truly at your level of depth, or with Mystical Sister here, someone that wasn't able to actually support you in your endeavors, or support you emotionally at the level at which you need, and the level at which you're capable of supporting others. So regardless if this is a love relationship, the same thing goes. There's just this sense of a mismatch of support and vibration. Like I almost feel like this person was someone, and we'll go more into it when we get the tarot spread out, but it feels like this person was someone that you may have been a light to, you may have been a support to, but it feels like you need your soul tribe around you. You need people that are on your same page more, is what I'm getting. Yeah. So I could see this relating to a relationship or a friendship or family member. It could really be anything for this one. But there is a strong feeling of more relationships coming into your life that are more deep and heart chakra based. And regardless if it's romantic or not, it feels like there's going to be that base level of like, I understand you, I see you. And so it could be that this person didn't fully see you in the way that you needed to be seen. So I'm going to ask Spirit now for pile number 1. Let's hone in on the connection that they most need to hear about. Why did this connection need to end? Yeah, because I'm getting that this feels like for you guys, pile number 1, you're on this journey to manifesting a certain type of relationship or a certain level of connection. And it's almost like in order to get there, sometimes we have to take a step backwards and do clearing before we can move forward and hit our target in regards to what we really want, what we really need. And so sometimes when we decide to put our energy towards goals. Like maybe in the past we weren't as conscious of what we want. So then there's energies around us that we're able to stay and be more aligned. But now that you're leveling your energy up and you're becoming more conscious about your energy, it's like the people around you, it's like it's an internal shift that's now kind of translating to an external shift. So yeah, all right. Pile number 1, why did the relationship with this person need to end? Spirit. I saw the 5 of Cups wanting to come out. We have the 7 of Cups. Why did the relationship with pile number 1's person need to end? We have the 8 of Swords. Again, I'm hearing with the 7 of Cups coming out, it's like you weren't 100% sure of what you wanted. And so it feels like this person was in your life in a time period where you maybe doubted yourself, with the 8 of Swords also, where you didn't know yourself as strongly. So with the 7 of Cups, there was still a draw towards certain opportunities that we were still testing out. There's an energy here where when you were in relationship with this person, it's like you were still figuring out who you were and what you really want emotionally and what's really going to be fulfilling for you. And it's also that you maybe didn't know what options you had as well. It could be that it's like you weren't sure of your options, or you weren't sure, you hadn't honed exactly in on what you want out of a relationship. But let's get more. For pile number 1, why did this relationship need to end? We have the 8 of Cups. Yeah. And the 8 of Cups talks about we're at the 8 of Cups level before we know what our 9 of Cups is. And our 9 of Cups is our ultimate emotional fulfillment. And it's almost like when we don't know what we deserve, we don't know what we want, we have certain people in our life at that stage. And it just feels like this relationship had to end with this person because you were moving on your journey. And it's like you became more aware of the different options that you have. And because you didn't doubt, you stopped doubting yourself as much and stopped feeling, it's like you became more empowered. And so because you became more empowered, you became more confident in knowing what you need and what you want. And it's unfortunately that when we go through a change like that, there are going to be people around us that we realize weren't the most fulfilling that we could have, basically. What else for pile number 1? It's a lot about like knowing your freedom. Yeah, we have the Magician here. Again, it's really about you having, the reason why this connection needed to end is because you were stepping into your power and you were becoming more clear about what it was you wanted to manifest. You were also becoming more confident about what you deserve and what you can get, basically. So with the 7 of Cups, it's like in the past there may have been confusion, or because there was less focus, there was less discernment about certain people. And I feel like with this person, this may have been someone that you didn't really realize you were settling for, but once you became more aware of your power, and this may be something you're still in process of, as you become more aware of your power and your options, you're no longer trapped or obligated to stay in situations that are below what you know you can attract in your life and what you deserve, basically. And it can be sometimes that we know we're not happy in relationships, but until that piece comes in where we feel, where we begin to be more confident in ourselves and we are more empowered and we believe in our own strength and ability in life, it's almost not until then does the relationship no longer have any reason to be there, because it's like you've outgrown it. So I just feel like this was something that you outgrew because you became more aware of your potential. And you came out of this scarcity mentality of being limited and feeling stuck into freedom. It's like you realized your freedom and you realize that there's limitless possibilities for what you can have. And so it's like you became more confident in yourself. We have the Hierophant. Why did the connection with pile number one's person have to end? So I'm getting with the Hierophant before the next card comes out. There's a feeling here that something about this connection with this person, it feels like it didn't resonate with you and what you really want for a relationship or what you really want for a connection. Instead, there's this feeling of following a guideline or feeling, because with the Eight of Swords and the Hierophant, it's almost this sense of I have to adhere to these standards or I have to follow these guidelines. And it's almost like before we're able to think for ourselves and achieve for ourselves, or before we're able to, basically what's coming to mind, Spirit is talking to me about how, I need to get a sip of water, 1 second. The concept of needing a society and needing to have laws and structure in order to be like a, what's it called? Almost on a bike with a, when you have training wheels, it almost feels like this was like a training wheel relationship or something, or this wasn't where you were completely free and confident in yourself. It's like this was maybe safe on some level or familiar to you. It was familiar. It was something that you were used to the values of, and it may have felt comfortable on a certain level, but it's almost like with the Hierophant being here, it's like you've learned your own set of values. And I'm also hearing in regards, Spirit is explaining how in society, it's important that as people are still developing and defining their own morals and becoming loyal to their own morals and becoming people, it's like we need to have laws to make sure that people have some basis to go off of how to be a decent human being, or basically like that. And so there's this energy of this may have been a connection where it just made sense for the time, or just made sense in this time period where you weren't as empowered and sure of how you feel about situations or who you are and what you deserve, what you want. And so it just feels like this was a training wheel kind of situation where once you took those training wheels off, there was no need for them anymore. And so it just kind of feels like something that you've outgrown more than anything. But there still definitely could be sadness here, especially if there was like a level of familiarity with this person. Can we finish out the spread, please, Spirit? Why did this connection need to end? And I'm hearing that there's more for you elsewhere is a big reason as well. There's something that suits you better than this, that you wouldn't be able to find if you're still putting energy into this. Why did this connection need to end? We have the Page of Wands. Yeah. So what Spirit's saying is, it's because with the Eight of Wands as well, it's like you're going through this shift right now. And with the Page of Wands, for me, this is about a new path opening that maybe previously wasn't available to you. And in order to walk down this new path and be open to something new, it's like the things that didn't align with you before, or the things that you aligned with before, needed to shift and change. And so I feel like this connection ending is actually a reflection of your growth and you shifting your energy. And it's not about anything I feel like that you did wrong or like this person necessarily. This just feels like one of those things where while we still don't know what we can get in life and we don't know what we deserve, we'll settle for this because it maybe looks right, or it maybe seems like the right thing to do, is what I want to say. So I feel like for you guys, this relationship would have been one that just made sense for some logical reason at the time. And it's also kind of reminding me of a sort of relationship where, I don't know, like I'm even thinking back to when we were like really young or something, and like in middle school, even when we would just like, we knew what a boyfriend was or a girlfriend, and we didn't really define or explore our own relationship life, right? Because we were just coming into life. And so we kind of had to mirror it based on what we've watched in movies or what we heard from people that are older than us. And so we kind of think about the energy you have when you're from that like newbie perspective. And you are going to be a lot more satisfied with something at that time than when you begin to know yourself. You're going to look back and be like, that was funny, that was the love of my life in 8th grade, And it just feels like as you become more aware of what's out there and more aware of your freedom to go seek that, it almost didn't make sense anymore for this connection to exist, or it's just it feels like a natural coming of age where shedding this was a part of coming into yourself. And it's not that there's anything wrong with this connection. I mean, there might have been, but there's just this sense that there's more out there for you, and this connection only would have been holding you back. And it's like you're meant to keep exploring, and you're meant to continue to see what's out there. And I feel like Spirit's saying to not be afraid of what change this is bringing to you, because you will understand, I feel like, especially in the future, as you are more connected with people that are more in alignment with you. All right, let's get some more oracle cards. Yeah, and I just saw Never Ending Story and Milk and Honey. This has so much to do with you being able to actually find what makes you really happy and what really supports you. And it's almost one of those things where it's like we think that you're going to marry the first person you date, or it's like, when you're in that energy of almost like imprinting on the first thing that was in that category for you. And this doesn't even have to be a first person. It just could have been someone that marked a certain era in your life. And there's just a sense of, I'm almost losing my train of thought of, I can't remember, but sorry, I don't know why I just completely lost my train of thought. But this person essentially marked a certain era of your life, and it's one of those times where just because it's familiar doesn't mean that it's right. And yeah, that's what I'm getting. So let me get some oracle cards as well. Why did this connection need to end? We have Between Worlds. Yeah, again, it's like 100% what we're kind of saying is you were in this journey of figuring out what your colorful side looks like. And it feels like this may have been just a connection that was meant to be temporary, or it could even have been that it was like before you knew where you were going, before you really knew what your destination was, we can end up just having certain connections that serve its purpose for that era and who we were in that era. So I'm even seeing that this could have been someone that was a big part of your life, but you're changing. Again, it's like you're changing, you're shifting. And so the main reason why this connection had to end is because you were in this transitionary process where, even though it can feel scary, because change is always scary, it's one of those situations where what's ahead of you and what was beyond this connection is actually a lot more in alignment with you, and it's going to bring you a lot more happiness. But it's just a transitionary thing. Like, because you're transitioning, your relationships are transitioning, and this just feels like one that was meant to be left in a previous phase. And it's like where you're going, it doesn't like this person isn't, or these people, this could be multiple people. Like, so maybe a lot of you guys are in this process of shifting connections, or weeding out what isn't really in alignment with you, because you are shifting into a new phase. And so Spirit's really making that clear, that it's this shifting energy is the reason why this had to end. Yeah, we have Poised. Because Spirit's saying, again, it's about your confidence. With 48, this Poised card basically talks about this energy of having confidence in yourself. And it's like when you work on your self-worth and you work on your self-love, it's like you're in this energy where you're ready. It's like you're ready for more. You're in this powerful energy. I almost want to read some of it to you guys, because this is like such a beautiful card. And sometimes we don't know, or if we're someone who maybe isn't used to being more confident in ourselves, we can kind of remember an old way of being and be confused when good things are happening in our life. But I kind of feel like that's what's going on here. So with the Poise card, it says being ready, bringing something into light, being at your best confidence. It says you can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to do. Your skills are sharp, and that's the Magician energy as well. You come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. So basically this had to end because you're ready for the next phase. You're ready for this next level. And And it says, when you're confident and happy in your own skin, you're ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove now. You're completely yourself and can handle anything. Yeah, so essentially it's just saying that maybe you were connected to this person in a time where you had a lot more self-doubt, or it may be that what you bonded with this person over was like lower self-confidence. And so it could just be that this person isn't really in alignment. And it's like you weren't meant to stay with the people. Like you may have resonated with them in a certain time period, but people change at different speeds. And there's just almost this feeling that this person marked an era that you're shifting out of. And it's possible that they're not shifting out of it with you. And so it's kind of like you have to honor yourself, you know, and continue to find things that are more aligned with you. Yeah. And then we have soulmates again. So spirits, and then happy at the back of the deck. This is the reason why this had to end, is because you deserve more. You're aligning with deeper, more supportive, more intimate and vulnerable and supportive relationships than this one. And sometimes when we have been in an energy of like self-doubt, and we haven't fully blossomed, some of the people we have around us can actually be karmic people. And so this may be someone that was not actually the truest depth of someone you could find. So sometimes it feels like that because at that time that was as deep as we went. But as we grow deeper within ourselves, we need people to mirror back to us, or else it feels like the connection is imbalanced, or it feels draining, or it can feel just not aligned in some way. So it just feels like the reason why this connection literally had to end is because you are ascending. And I think the next phase is going to be calling in your soul tribe, calling in the people who are as deep as you and have this similar self-confidence. And it's even that like, and it may be hard because you may still resonate with this past person, but there's just this feeling of needing to realize that sometimes the people we had around us didn't believe in themselves. And when we aren't able, or didn't love themselves in the same way, maybe you loved yourself less in the past. And so it's kind of this energy of understanding that that person can't love you as deep as you're now capable of loving. So it just feels like a transition for you with the between worlds. That's essentially what Spirit is alluding to. So for the extended reading, what do I want to go into? I'm going to get a sip of water. I want to look at what's next on your journey. I want to look at what connection you may be calling into your life next, because you guys are totally at this phase where you're ready with this Poise card. So let's take a look at your next relationship and who that's going to be with. And so basically your next significant relationship is what we're going to look at for the extended reading. That's what I have for the YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. If you want to enter the reading, just make sure you like this, or the reading giveaway, just make sure you like this video, that you leave any comment. Doesn't have to be long, and just also make sure you're subscribed and that you have your notifications on. And other than that, I hope to see you at the next reading, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. We're going to be looking at why the connection with the person that you have on your mind needed to end. We are going to be starting off with a really quick energy check-in. I just want to touch base with where you're at in regards to your thoughts and feelings about the situation, to fill me in, and also to help you feel more confident that this is the right pile for you. So I'm going to put this aside for right now. And let's look at where you're at right now with this energy. For pile number 2, Spirit, please have me in where is pile number 2 at in regards to this connection? We have the Ace of Wands. We have the Ten of Swords in reverse. Also, I pre-pulled this oracle card, which is rotation. So I'm just going to use this to aid the reading. Anything that might come through. I did that for the last pile. Where is pile number 2 at in regards to this connection? The 10 of Cups. Okay, I'm gonna, that was too many, so I'm just gonna put it back in. Where's pile number 2 at in regards to this connection? We have the Hangman, which is funny with rotation here because the Hangman is upside down. We have Temperance. And then we also have the 9 of Wands. Okay. And the 7 of Wands at the back of the deck. So pile number 2, I guess I kind of forgot that this wasn't the whole reading itself, but what I'm picking up on is I feel like you guys have been, whether you know it or not, maybe on somewhat of a, I'm hearing like a merry-go-round or a cycle. It's like you're on this, like, the best way I could describe it is like, let's say we're trying to get from here to here. And in order to get there, we have to circle and circle and circle. And so I feel like this connection was someone that you went on like a merry-go-round with, but it was serving the purpose of giving you experiences and highs and lows and a new perspective, basically. So, because with the Ace of Wands, the Ace is all about the beginning, right? And then I love that the 10 of Swords came out, and that's why I was like, oh, I need to get this card out, because there's something here about your soul learning, wanting to gain wisdom on through experience, through going through the cycle, you level up each time with more wisdom is what I'm seeing. And that's why the 9 of Wands is here and then the 10 of Cups. So I'm seeing that you guys are looking to the future. There's some future that you want to create, but it's almost like in order to get to that future, there was a need for certain connections, and it could be the one we're talking about, to come in your life. And it's like a rotation. It's kind of like a karmic cycle. I do feel like this may be a karmic relationship, but it was this karmic cycle that was meant to teach you, meant to give you more of a idea of the balanced path. You know, it's almost like without honoring the polarity. So I'm seeing like a circle, but I'm also getting it as up and down as a circle, and the polarities of basically you've been learning this wisdom about understanding the full picture of something. So when you go about relationships, you're balanced, and you have it's like you're alchemizing your viewpoint of what you want in your life through experience. So I would say the way you've experienced this connection, it's been about you becoming more strong and more boundaried almost. Like I feel like this is a connection where you've been kind of forced to, through pain and through difficult experience with this person, it's given you a new perspective. And I do feel like there still could be pain that you're healing from. And I do feel like there's maybe wounds from this connection. But there is this sense that you've grown from it and you've learned. This connection has put you in this energy where you have to step back and view it from a different angle and make sure that the viewpoint that you have about this isn't your first thought. And so through not going on your first instinct, you're gaining wisdom essentially. But I do want to pull for like the actual, this is almost giving me all the information I need, but I'm just going to do it the same way I've been doing the other piles. But I would say for you guys, pile number 2, you guys are at this place where you're trying to balance out your energy, and almost not just your energy, but balance out your approach to relationships. And it's like you're getting this relationship is giving you this new perspective on what opportunities you wanted to engage with, is what I would say. It's like through life experience, through experiencing different things, you're becoming wiser through your experiences. So you would feel at this point like you maybe had some rocks thrown at you, you've had some difficulties from this relationship, but you would be somewhat aware that it is teaching you something, or you may feel like you'll go into this state of suspension or not being able to get to the outcome you want, because it's like you still need to learn something from it, or it's like there's this process of alchemy and higher learning going on. And I guess I'm not 100% sure how aware you are that this is happening, but with this connection, it just feels like you are wanting to have some kind of ideal relationship, but it is requiring for you to balance your energy and balance your approach. And until that happens, it's almost like you can't move forward. So I would say with this connection, you've probably felt stuck multiple times, and you've probably been very confused why things don't just flow easily, either in love in general or like with a specific person. And it's because you're learning something. But let's get more into, though, like why specifically this connection needed to end. That was already a lot of information about it. So hopefully you know at this point that this is your pile. If you guys do feel like you're kind of having to go through these cycles, it just feels like, oh my gosh, I do not want to go on this merry-go-round again. It's like you're having to turn knowledge into wisdom, turn experience into wisdom. So you come out on the other end with a new philosophy, or you renew yourself through your experiences and maybe failed experiences as well, because they were always teaching you something. There's kind of the epitome here of experiences are meant to teach you. But yes, at this point when I'm shuffling, I do want to ask that if you do like this content, you like what I'm putting out, I do really appreciate if you're able to hit the like button, leave a comment. If you're able to leave any kind of donation, it's super helpful, or to check out the extended reading as a way of supporting the channel. I really appreciate all of you that are supporting this channel, so thank you so much. But anyways, let's go now into, for pile number 2, why did this connection need to end? Why did this connection have to end? There's this sense of frustration of just like, why can't this just work? Like there's just a frustration. But then the more you pause and look at it, you kind of learn. And then you're like, okay, wait, I actually understand now, but it doesn't mean that it's not frustrating. So I empathize with that. Why did this relationship need to end? We have the 4 of Wands. You have the Fool here. Again, I am getting this Fool energy. I love your guys' energy, by the way. I think it's funny. We have the 3 of Cups. I feel like you guys have been in this time period of learning about yourself through socialization, through getting to know people. It's like you've been taking risks and you've been open. So essentially what I'm getting with the Fool here, it's like the Fool is someone who doesn't have the knowledge yet. They don't have the experience to have the knowledge. And so the reason why this had to end, I'm seeing, is this was someone that was meant to be a part of your process to figuring out what kinds of opportunities and people really support you and are going to celebrate you and be your like home base. Because the 4 of Wands here, there's this energy of figuring out who your people or your person is through experimentation almost, and having fun though. And so maybe that you guys have been in this time period of your life where you guys have maybe taken more risks, and it may have led you to this person that we're thinking of. And it may just have been in this era where you were almost experimental, I want to even say. Why did this relationship need to end though for pile number 2? We have the 9 of Swords. We have Judgment. Why did this connection need to end for pile number 2? We have the Star. And then the Knight of Cups at the back of the deck. Get a sip of water. Okay, so I'm seeing that, and I like that the spider is here with the rotation, because what I'm getting is that there's something that you're building here, or you are actually really progressing. But I am seeing that the relationship that you're maybe thinking of, it needed to end because it was a coming of age for you. With Judgment being here, this is all about coming to a higher level of understanding of truth. And I'm seeing with that, I love that the Fool is here and then the Judgment, because the reason why this person came into your life, it feels like it was to bring you an elevated understanding of what you want to pour your energy into. Because with the Knight of Cups here, I'm just getting this energy of this very open-hearted energy with the Fool and the Knight of Cups of kind of following your heart, but then needing to refine your process a little bit through experience and going through different experiences and seeing the outcome. So it's like, okay, I try to go this way with this person, and this person was like this, and then this is the outcome that I got. And it's like this person wasn't meant, this person that we're thinking of, that you have in mind, I feel like it isn't someone that was supposed to be your end game or your end goal, or someone that was truly a part of your soul tribe. It feels like these are people you met on the way, and you maybe went through a few karmic loops with, or a certain person you went on a few karmic loops with, that the purpose was to elevate your understanding of yourself and the world around you. And not even just yourself, but I want to say the world around you more than anything. Because there's this feeling of you having met this person to help you be more logical based on experience about love. Yeah, and with the Nine of Swords here, it feels like you've been learning to listen to what you've been learning, to be more self-assured and to not sell yourself short. And so I feel like the reason why this relationship needed to end is because it was only a part of the journey, and you becoming more self-assured of yourself and more confident in your assessments of people, experiences, places. Because there's kind of an energy here where you may have met this person when you were still figuring out, where you were still maybe jumping into things or something, or maybe you were still not really sure what you were looking for you weren't 100% sure what you were vibing with, and you may just have given people a lot of benefit of the doubt, but I do want to clarify some of these. All right, why is the Nine of Swords here? Oh, I'm getting something as well. Can I see the Nine of Swords? I think it's like self-doubt. We have the Knight of Wands. Okay. But what I was going to say is I feel like the reason the relationship with this person maybe needed to end is because I feel like this person was a part of an era where maybe you looked to other people to reflect to you your worth, or it may be that you were still giving other people around you, especially this person, the ability to define how you feel and the ability to dictate your self-worth. And so you maybe were looking to the world around you to tell you who you are and to tell you that you're worthy and that you're strong, that you're beautiful, all these things. It was like you were giving your love and participating in these experiences and maybe hoping that your relationship with this person, or maybe other people at the time as well, could be a representation of your worth. It's like you wanted it to show you your worth is what I'm getting. But it's almost like this moment of judgment coming in where your sense of worth isn't going to come from people. And if we put all of our emotions or eggs into certain people's baskets out of optimism, or we think that if we show other people how much we love them, that they're going to show us how much they love us, then we end up getting really hurt. And so I feel like this person was this lesson where you weren't able to find, it's almost like you weren't able to find happiness in this connection and maybe with other connections at that time, because the lesson you were learning was about being different and valuing your own unique expression and learning to love yourself and value your differences, rather than needing to like conform or fit in or contort yourself into some way to get people to love you. I just feel like this was someone that you maybe wanted their approval of, or you maybe put certain people on a pedestal, especially this person, because of not seeing your own worth, because of not seeing what made you special and what not feeling completely, what's it called? It's almost just this feeling of not being aware of your own, what you bring to the table. And because of that, there can be a feeling of relying on other people to tell you that. And it could even be that you're the most beautiful person ever and you're like super smart. But it's like, if we don't acknowledge it in ourselves, there's always going to be sort of a dysfunctional relationship with others. And so I feel like this person was someone that was not able to reflect back to you the self-love you were looking for. It was like you were looking for self-love in this person. You were looking for this person to love you so you could feel confident and supported in yourself and your decisions. But it's like this relationship needed to end because that person could have never given it to you. And this was a journey of you figuring out that you have to give it to yourself. And no exciting new opportunity, no experience externally was ever going to bring you what you really wanted. And I think that in realizing that, or as you are realizing that, the appeal for this person maybe even goes down, because as we become more and more aware of our own awesomeness and our own beauty and shine and it factor, like the more solar plexus energy we have, the more unattractive people become that aren't treating us how we know we deserve to be treated. But when we don't come within with that confidence, we can actually be attracted to people who we feel like we need to prove ourselves. And so we don't see red flags clearly. And so I'm just thinking with this situation, I'm really feeling that when people maybe didn't support you, it's like, I feel like you took on a lot of that anxiety and stress. I mean, I don't even want the Knight of Wands here because I'm understanding, but it's like, I'm just seeing you doubting yourself and jumping towards this person to give you this sense of stability and support and self and love that you were needing to develop within yourself. And so it was never meant to be that this person was supposed to just give it to you, because that would rob you of the development that you were meant to go through. And this relationship was meant to end because it marks you realizing that you don't need this person's approval in order to have this self-love, in order to have this confidence about yourself, in order to know where you're going and to feel supported in your decisions and to feel supported in yourself and to feel competent, But I want to see, why is the Four of Wands here? Yeah, we have death here as well, and in reverse. But yeah, I'm getting the feeling that this relationship or this person ended up not being supportive, or it's almost like they served to not be that supportive of a home base for you, or to be someone that you would worry about if you have their support or not, in order to reflect that wound within you so you could give that to yourself. And as soon as you do that, it like breaks the curse of this. As soon as you see it from a different perspective, as soon as you understand that the way you were going about it, now that you see the full picture, it's almost like you're back to square one and it's time to make a different decision, is what I would say. It's time to understand that you'll keep going around in a circle if we're looking for something that we can only give ourselves in someone else. In that we give our power away when we let other people define our worth as a measure of like how they're responding to us, what they're saying to us, how they feel about us, how they see us. It's like this relationship with this person needed to end because the real drive for this person came from a place that only you could have given yourself, essentially. So I hope that makes sense. I feel like I said that in kind of a lot of words, and so it's almost like the more that you step into your sense of self-worth and sense of confidence, and confidence especially in like what makes you different and what makes you unique. So it's like about, instead of fitting in and it's almost realizing, there's also this message coming through about you learning that you're more free to define what is valuable to you, and other people are free to define what is valuable to them, and that you don't need other people's approval, or you don't need a good judgment from other people on your decisions. You don't need to be supported by everyone before you can go off and do what's right for you, or before you're allowed to see something a certain way. And there may have just been this energy where you would gaslight yourself out of your own perceptions, or maybe you would minimize the importance of how you feel about something, how you feel about yourself, what interests you, and you may have minimized yourself to fit in or to get approval. And this was a lesson on that. This was a lesson on, as long as it makes you happy, and as long as it's that no one can know you better than yourself, and that's what it feels like. So I don't know why I'm getting kind of tongue-tied, but it was like you need to go through this rotation to see things from a different perspective. It was almost like you were seeing it one way, where like maybe you're going in like wanting a certain outcome and wanting to be supported by this person, wanting to be loved. And it's almost like as you continue to go through the cycle, you start to flip it upside down and realize that like, is that even really what I want? Or does it matter anyways? It's like there's one level above that cycle that you were on, which is the level of self-validation, validating yourself, and realizing that as soon as you learn to validate yourself, you grow in your power, and you no longer are dependent on people's approval of you or their opinion of you, and you're free to move on. Even if they still don't approve of you, you know, there's just this energy of like wanting approval, or being afraid of not having support, and maybe holding yourself back until you have support from certain people, or valuing other people's opinion about you over your own. And so the reason why this had to end is because you didn't really need this, or it was serving you as a karmic situation to highlight what within you needed to change. So yeah, sorry. I don't know why I'm apologizing so much. I don't know. Maybe you see, it's kind of like doubting yourself, or doubting that what you say makes sense, or doubting that what you feel makes sense, doubting that you yourself are valid and you deserve to take up space and you're just as valid as anyone else. That's what you need to know, 100%. All right. Can we clarify this? Why did the relationship need to end with this person that Paul 2 is thinking of? We have a leg up. We have a change in the wind. Then we also have round and round, which is super on point with like the rotation and the karmic cycles, right? Essentially, I feel like this was a relationship, again, with like the leg up being here. This is highlighting that theme of maybe you thought in the past like you needed support from other people to be valid. And so it's almost like you gave people a lot of power based on whether or not they approve of you, based on whether or not they support you. And I feel like you maybe have gone like round and round, not getting anywhere, because what you really needed was like a change up of direction, a change of plan. Because with a change in the wind, it's almost like this connection wasn't going anywhere. And it was just highlighting this dysfunctional cyclical pain cycle, where maybe, or it could have been someone that breadcrumbed you, could have been someone that was like in and out, but it was just this essence of the only way to get out of this cycle was to rely on yourself, and was to learn that you don't need this person. And by working on our ability to rely on ourselves, we free ourselves from circular relationships. It frees us to go, wait, why am I even doing this anyways? Like, this doesn't even serve me. Or like we tend to stay in cycles when we think we need something. It's like we stay attached to someone. So it says, the appearance of this card is a reminder that although it may appear you've gone backwards, the truth is that you're standing at a higher level, looking down into your circumstances. You will learn something, do something better, break a cycle set up in the past. You actually have a bird's eye view of your initial footprints and can access the wisdom of the lessons learned. Again, so it's like again, you had to learn one spiral, like let's say it's one spiral, and then as you've gone through that experience, even though it may feel like you didn't reach whatever goal you wanted, or maybe things collapsed, you do have a higher level of insight now. And what's really interesting is that this card is the wisdom card. It says to tap into ancient, ever-flowing well of wisdom within, to remember that the key resides inside, waiting to be claimed. To reclaim your wellspring of higher knowing and light, follow this card. So this is so much about self-trust. This is about you needed to go through these experiences, or this relationship specifically, because it showed you, it's teaching you. It's like sometimes it's like a trial and error process. It's like, wait, that didn't bring me happiness. That didn't make me love myself. Should I try to do something different? Should I change my approach to the situation? And so the reason why this connection ends or keeps falling apart is because you're meant to do something different. Is that this is meant to be an ongoing cycle where each time you go around, you have an opportunity to learn the lesson, or you can go back around, you know? Because I want to read the protection. And it could even be, especially with this person, this could be someone who mirrors a certain wound you've already experienced in childhood or in previous relationships. I feel like this was the kind of connection where you're just confused. Why does it always end up this way? Like, what am I doing wrong? But because of the continued experience of it not going right, that's propelling you to change. But I do want to read the protection message to you guys. It says, are you refusing to see your own personal responsibility for repeating lessons you don't need to relearn? You have to surrender now to the fact that you're the common denominator in all these repeat performances. Be happy for this wonderful spot you're in. You can now see the cycles that you wish to exit. Once you figure out that you have the power, again, it's like you have the power to stop going round and around. You possess the key to your freedom. It's within. Be good to yourself. It's not about blame, but accountability. You have an abundant life filled with love and prosperity that Spirit so wants for you. And so I'm definitely not wanting to come off like I'm judging this. I 100% understand it. But sometimes when we give away our power to others, we're also kind of giving them the responsibility to make us happy, right? But realizing that when we change our perspective to make ourselves responsible for our own sense of self-worth, our own sense of self-love, our own happiness, we take our power back. We take our power back to leave situations that are not serving us. And it's literally like you don't see that this relationship needed to end because you're the key, not this person. You are the key. You are the person that holds the key to what you want. So what I'm trying to say is that this relationship won't work out with this person because this is a lesson that you're learning about turning inward to yourself and getting a new perspective and understanding when something isn't working. It's time to look at the situation differently. It's time to figure out what I need to learn about myself. What do I need? What wisdom do I need to apply here? And that's the hangman's energy as well. It's like when there's blockage after blockage, and it's like we feel like we've already tried to achieve some kind of a goal. It's time to stop and look at the situation differently, surrender, and try to find a higher perspective on what we need to do. And so this is why this connection didn't work out, because you're meant to learn that lesson. And then the next relationship, then you walk away from this because this is not serving you and you now have the self-love to walk away. Then the next person you meet, you're going to have so much more discernment. You're going to be like, I'm not going to do this again. So these are my boundaries. This is my needs. Like, do you meet it? Yes, no. No. Okay. I'm going to be on to the next one. Then the next person, maybe they still don't meet it. Then you're on to the next one. And then that's the one. And then you finally reach your goal, but it wasn't through someone else. It was because you learned your worth and you started valuing your relationships based on what they actually are giving you and how much they're valuing you rather than how much you want their validation, basically. So that is what I have for you guys, pile number 2. We are going to go into an extended reading. I'm going to ask Spirit what we should focus on for the extended. What should we look at for the extended reading for pile number 2? Yeah, we have to be fair here. So I feel like what Spirit wants to go into essentially is like, I feel like they want to call out this person a little bit, because with to be fair here, you guys may be the type of person who takes on, because we want someone's approval or because we're putting them on a pedestal or we like think that their approval means a lot, we may be cleaning up their BS and you may be allowing behaviors in regards to this person that really aren't fair. And so Spirit's really asking you to be more honest with yourself about what is this person's issues and what do you need to deal with. So in the extended, we're going to dissect this person a little bit more because I feel like this is why it needed to end, but there may still be things that you feel responsible for, or you may still be taking accountability for things that you don't need to. So we're going to look at what this is about in the extended. What about your person is like almost like I feel like you need to be validated. I'm going to validate you in the extended reading through kind of analyzing the BS of this person. So if you're interested in that, I'll have it linked down below, or if you want to support the channel, I do really appreciate it. Other than that, if you guys want to enter the free reading giveaway, just make sure you like this video, leave any comment. Doesn't matter. I mean, I do appreciate all of the kind comments and I do read them. And if you guys have any feedback, I appreciate that as well. But that is what I have. All you need to do is make sure you comment and put your notifications on and make sure you're subscribed so you will get the notification for the winner at the end of the month. But I hope to see you again at the next Pick a Card reading, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose the Moon Oracle card and the Blue Calcite, this is going to be your reading, where we're looking at why the connection with the person that you have in mind needed to come to an end, or at least a pause. So this feels like this would be a situation where the connection definitely is over, or there's no contact, and why did this connection need to take a pause? So I don't know why I just felt the need to repeat that, but I'm interested to get into this. I also pre-pulled an oracle card here, and so we have the Earth's Heart for this pile. We are going to start off with an energy check-in where we're going to be looking at where you're currently subjectively at with this person. This is meant to be an energy check-in just to help you guys feel confident that this is your pile. And it also helps me understand where you are at as the viewer, kind of ground the reading into what you guys need to hear the most. So for pile number 3, please tune me in to their subjective perspective of this person, this connection. Where are they at emotionally in regards to this? Where are their thoughts at? What's their energy like in reference? We have the Empress in reverse. We have the Seven of Wands in reverse position. We have the Star. This whole deck is not reversed, but I'm picking up the energy, so makes sense so far. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. And the first thing I heard, we had the Ten of Swords in reverse. The first thing I heard with the Earth's Heart, I feel like this pile, people that resonate with this group, there's an energy here about learning your worth and through different experiences and different relationships, getting closer and closer to your internal truth. And of course, that's what most relationships are doing. But I feel like you guys are in this soul searching phase right now where if relationships fall away from your life, it's because you're getting closer and closer to honoring yourself and understanding your inherent worth. And it feels like your heart space, it's almost like a purification process, I want to say, that you guys are going through, where right now it may not make sense. There's kind of a sweetheart energy coming through, or an energy that's very feminine with the Moon as well. And I also feel like with the Earth's Secret, or the Earth's Heart, this talks about a secret, and the Moon is all about the subconscious and what we don't consciously understand. So it feels like whatever connection this is, it feels like you're at a loss, and you may just feel like relationships are falling away from your life, or it's almost like you don't really have control, or it feels like you're being pushed outside of your comfort zone and you can't see right now what's forming because of that. But Spirit wants you to know that I'm hearing like trust the process, and even if right now you don't feel sure of why these connections are falling away, or you may still want them. You may feel a little bit lonely or a little bit invalidated by relationships not being in alignment with you. And I feel like with the Star in reverse, it may be that there's a sense of feeling isolated or feeling let down, disappointed, confused about why is this happening in general in your life. So it could be that there's multiple relationships falling away, but this is actually like, it feels like a journey of you understanding your own values. And it's like right now you're confused because it's like you're having things fall away and break away. So then you can redefine your relationships and your sense of self with a more true version of who you are. But it feels like you're not quite yet at that point. So it feels confusing and disheartening right now, but it is a process that's for your highest good. And that might sound annoying to hear, but I just feel like with the Ten of Swords in reverse, it's like, why? It feels even dark night of the soul a little bit. It doesn't have to be that intense, but there's just this sense of things falling apart because you're being pushed into defining your values to be more authentic to yourself. And it's almost like you wouldn't have been able to do that unless certain connections started to fall apart. We have strength. Yeah, strength here in the Hermit. Again, so it's like, this is just confirming what Spirit's saying. We have Judgment in reverse here. That, again, it's like that sense of isolation or that sense of whatever was comfortable for you before seems to be falling away. And that it almost is distracting because it still hurts and it still feels like a process of death. But I feel like with the Strength card here, there's something about you leveling up through this and becoming more confident in yourself and less defined by the relationships around you. It may be that you guys have this energy. There's kind of what I'm hearing from Spirit is when you're more in your feminine energy, it's almost like how the water takes the form of the cup. And so it feels like you guys may have throughout your life kind of flowed to fit into other people's sets of values or other people's preference almost. And so there's this sense of this actually being pulled away from you energetically because, and although you don't see the reason why right now, it's because you're meant to learn to rely on yourself. And with Strength here, it's like learning that you didn't need to rely on these relationships to stand strong and independently, and to learn who you are. So there's just this sense that you wouldn't have, the reason why this relationship had to fall apart is because it's like you wouldn't have been able to develop the sense of self that you're being pushed into and this sense of inner strength without doing it on your own, and learning to not rely on other connections to define you, or only believing in yourself when you have certain relationships around you, or only feeling comfortable in yourself and confident if certain people are giving you that support. And so it almost feels like as you go deeper and more vulnerable into yourself, there's like a secret to be discovered about who you are. And it feels like the phase you're at right now is in the disoriented phase of like, I don't see it yet. Like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to be taught. But Spirit's telling you it is for this purpose of finding your own strength. And with the Hermit being here, it's about finding your own strength through your own guidance and your own tuning into yourself as opposed to anyone else. And it's about finding that strength and internal value and sense of worthiness within yourself, in the absence of other connections giving you that, essentially. And then it also feels like when other people, though, are giving you your sense of worth and like wisdom, it's their version of it. And so there's just this sense of you having taken on, like, there's like layers that you've taken on of your sense of self-worth and your sense of love, your sense of worthiness is what I want to say. And it's almost like it feels like this, and this is just an example. Sometimes when certain people, let's say it starts off with our parents may always praise a certain trait that they like in us. And so then we attach to that as like, that's what makes us valuable. That's what makes us worthy. And it feels like you have a lot of those ideas in your mind, or it's like your sense of value is coming from certain things like that. And it almost feels like you're learning through this process of maybe losing closer relationships to you right now, or whoever you're specifically thinking of, because it's so you are able to purge yourself of, this is what makes me valuable, is that this person likes this about me, or that I'm able to do this for other people. And it's becoming more independent, like your intrinsic value that isn't dependent on what other people see as valuable. So and this is meant to be the energy check-in, so I am actually going to go deeper into it, and I'm going to get another spread for exactly why. But I would say the way you would feel about this right now is that you're having a hard time letting it go. It's like I'm hearing, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to have to do this alone. And there's a sense of feeling a little bit defeated and confused and a little bit in denial, I would say, about maybe what you're being called to alchemize or what you're being called to heal through right now. It's like you're being pushed into doing this more solo, and that may not be something you're usually comfortable with, but it's like Spirit saying they know that you're ready for it, because it is out of your comfort zone, but there's growth to be had through this. But the phase you're in right now is maybe being very confused, and it just being very foggy, like why this is happening, or why there has to be these shifts in your life, why there has to be these endings that maybe you didn't expect, or you didn't want that. It feels like you didn't want to, like, for example, sometimes we feel very like resentful of certain relationships, and so it's like the ending is almost like a sense of justice. It feels like, if anything, this ending that we're talking about isn't one that feels, even if maybe you recognize that there were certain like things about it that didn't serve you, it still doesn't feel like you want to let go of it, or a part of you still feels very attached to it. So what I'm saying is there isn't like a fire under you being like frustrated at this person or like mad at them. It almost just feels like a sense of defeat, and like, why do I have to be alone? Why do I have to deal with what I'm going through alone right now? And with Judgment in reverse, it's about like not really seeing the truth of the situation yet. But it feels like this is an opportunity to up level, and it's almost like once it unfolds, you will see the secret, or because the Earth's heart talks about this like treasure at the center. So the deeper you go inward, the more clear things become. It's almost like right now it looks like it doesn't make sense, but it eventually will make sense. Yeah, so I'm going to pull another, I'm going to get another spread for this and see more specifically what Spirit wants you to know about, like, why it was that why this relationship you're thinking about needed to end or have a pause. So there will be an extended reading for this pile. We will see intuitively what to go into. So if you feel like this is resonating and you're interested in the topic for the extended, I'll have it linked down below. And at this time, I do like to ask, if you guys do find value in these videos, to please hit the like button, leave a comment. It really supports the channel and also helps me better connect with your energy through the energy exchange. If you want me to pull cards that are more specific for your situation, ways that you can connect better is by liking the video, making sure you're subscribed, and through commenting. It's a stronger energetic connection that way. So I'm gonna get a sip of water. Now we're gonna go into this a little bit deeper. So for pile number 3, why did this connection need to end? We have the 9 of Wands in reverse. We have the Fool. We have the Chariot. We have the Knight of Pentacles. We have the 5 of Swords in reverse. Put this aside. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. And the Seven of Cups in reverse. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is this relationship or this era in your life where the person that you're thinking of is connected to, it feels like, again, this is a virgin. I don't know why that came out. Maybe that's the case, but I meant to say a version of yourself that is a little bit, what I want to say is that you've been in process, and it feels like maybe when you met this person, with the Fool being here, it's almost like you hadn't had the experience in your life yet under your belt. And it feels like this experience you had was in alignment with you when you maybe were doubting yourself again. So it feels like there's this theme of maybe doubting your power, doubting your strength, doubting what you're capable of achieving based on your willpower and strength of spirit. So it's like you guys have this really strong strength of spirit with the Chariot here, but maybe in the past you kind of felt more like a fish being influenced by the world around you. So you may have given your power away to the external circumstances. Like it's almost like you were in this fish energy where it's like you were following the tides that were around you. But with the Chariot being here, this would be not that energy. So like the Chariot's energy would be like a fish swimming against the current, regardless of how strong the current is pushing, because it knows exactly where it's going. Because I feel like with the Seven of Cups in reverse here, this energy can talk about when we are lacking focus about our purpose and what we are meant to do. And so it feels like in order to get closer to your purpose and to get closer to your sense of strength and what's it called? It's not just strength, but it's resilience. It's almost like you guys have so much internal strength and resilience, but in this era that you knew this person, it feels like you were still just learning about yourself. And there may be an energy here where like in the past you maybe would give up on yourself too soon or give up on your goals because it's almost like you maybe expected yourself to fail, or maybe you didn't push hard enough. And so there's this energy here where you may have given your power away. So this may be someone that you gave your power away to, or you maybe subconsciously wanted them to help you with this energy within yourself. So to make you feel more confident or make you feel more capable in a way. But what Spirit's saying is that this person wouldn't have been able to give you that because this is something that you were meant to develop within yourself. And it just feels like the relationship had to end because it's almost like you wouldn't have been able to learn how to do it yourself if this person was still in your life. And so it almost feels like maybe they would have enabled you to continue to doubt yourself. And I'm not getting that it necessarily has to be intentional, but there's something here where it feels like if this person was still in your life, you wouldn't have learned about your own strength, because sometimes even if people aren't meaning to, they can enable us basically to maybe doubt ourselves. Or it's like if that person was maybe comfortable with you being in this energy where you kind of look to someone else to be the strength or to be the person that has the direction, then you never find your own direction because you're kind of following someone else's direction. And so with the Knight of Pentacles being here, this was meant to teach you about commitment to your own goals and commitment to yourself, and learning how to not give up even when faced with challenges, and learning that you are strong enough to reach your goals so long as you are following your purpose. And so it just feels like something about this connection was not, it was enabling you to not find your purpose, is what I want to say. It was enabling you to maybe continue to go with the flow, or continue to see yourself, to doubt yourself, and to see yourself as kind of this inexperienced person with the Fool here. And it's almost like Spirit is wanting to usher you into experiences where you have the ability to grow because there isn't training wheels. I'm almost getting this energy of you taking training wheels off. And I feel like this came through in another pile. So maybe you guys would resonate with another pile, but that's what I'm getting about this connection is you're meant to learn how to persevere yourself. And there was something about this connection that was stopping you from doing that. And it's like in the end, you will be happy that you were given this time and space to develop your own sense of willpower and your own sense of strength. But because it feels like what I'd want to say is like maybe you connected with this person that we're talking about when you were like in this second layer. But what Spirit's saying is there's more layers to you that if you stay in this relationship, you'll just stay at this layer of self. And it's like you needed to let go of it so you can transform and go a layer deeper and to get closer and closer to the heart of your power, the heart of your truth and your purpose and your sun energy, your energy where you know who you are and you know what you're meant to do in this world. Yeah. And so there's just this real sense of you having to separate in order to find that sense of self from this person. And I'm not even getting that it has to be that this person was intentionally holding you back in any way. It's just that this energy was holding you back. Because it was keeping you in this kind of jovial sort of maybe considering yourself to be naive or not capable somehow. But Spirit's saying like you are capable, and there may have just been instances where you gave up on certain paths that you wanted to go down or certain dreams, or like maybe you have ideas of what you want to do, but if other people didn't like validate them, maybe you would have just been like, oh, you're right, like that is stupid to want to do that. Or it may just be that you were in relationships where it maybe wasn't intentional, but it just could have been that you were talked out of your own individuality and your own sense of what makes you feel passionate, what makes you feel like you can work really hard. And then so maybe because you've been kind of listening to other people, maybe you have been burnt out on a certain path because it wasn't really your true path, you know? Or it could be that, yeah, it just feels like there's something oppressive without intentionally trying to be oppressive about the connections around you, maybe this person specifically. It's like the way that they saw you and the way that they mirrored you to yourself made you feel smaller and made you feel less capable. And that needed to be removed so you can understand that even if there's been failures in the past, and even if maybe you failed like one time, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't get back up. And it's also telling you that your luck can change. I don't know if you were in this identity with this person where you kind of felt dependent, or you maybe like doubted yourself, or maybe there were certain failures or something. But Spirit's saying that it's like you're learning how to weather external circumstances. You're learning, for some reason, this connection was not allowing you to fully understand the strength of your resilience and your ability to keep going despite the changing circumstances, despite the fact that maybe, yeah, there might be a hiccup on the road or it might not be super easy, but it doesn't mean that you don't have the strength to get there. And with the Seven of Cups, it's almost like this connection kept you distracted on exactly what you wanted. It's like you weren't able to tune into your heart and like what your Nine of Cups would have been, like what truly makes you feel fulfilled. And I'm seeing that the only way that could happen is for you to first find that Nine of Pentacles, because you maybe wanted also this 10 of Pentacles. So you maybe were you may have been unknowingly compromising your vision of your true fulfillment for the fulfillment of like a group or multiple people, when your vision was the one that is truly going to make you happy. And it's like you can't reach the 10 of Pentacles until both people reach the 9. And so I'm just seeing with the Seven of Cups, it's like it's this relationship created illusion for you that was distracting you on your path and wasn't really enabling you to grow. And so what Spirit's saying is that we have relationships for a certain amount of time, but once they are stunting our growth and no longer allowing us to learn, Spirit will pull them away from our life so we can enter the next era that's best helping us to grow. So I feel like this person maybe was in your life in a time where it's like they were meant to be in your life and they were in alignment with your vibration, but I feel like that vibration is expiring, of having that experience of maybe relying on others or doubting yourself is important, I feel, to showing you what happens when you go that way, and just to kind of show you that if you are honest with yourself, you probably would know what I'm saying. You probably would know that this is somewhat true, but unless the relationship was taken away, it just feels like you wouldn't have made that decision. So you would have maybe accidentally self-sabotaged is what I'm seeing. So I just feel like this was like something that needed to end because it was in your highest good for your growth in this lifetime. All right, let's get some oracle cards as well. Why did this connection need to end, Spirit? We have clean it up. We have blessed. And we have to the sea. Okay, yeah, so exactly what I'm seeing is with clean it up. It's like this was some sort of, there was energetic debris in this. When clean it up comes out, for me, this talks about when we have energy or we have people, things we're focusing on that are not in alignment with where we're headed. And I feel like with blessed being here, it's like there's also this energy of you maybe not seeing what you're capable of, what you're prepared to go towards. It's almost like this was distracting you from your path and distracting you from your blessings and what you were able to attract into your life. And so with clean it up being here, it's like this was something that needed to be purged from your energy and your life in order for you to be able to receive blessings and receive, it's like maybe this was a part of your life for a time period where, again, it's like it wasn't a time for you to achieve, or it wasn't a time where you were going to be flowing. It was like an off season. But I feel like what Spirit's saying is there's a season coming up where it's about clearing this energy out and flowing with your purpose, flowing with your opportunities, and not holding yourself back for any reason. And so it just feels like you maybe would have held yourself back from certain blessings or a certain path that would have made you really happy had this connection still been in your life. And so it needed to be cleared out with the clean it up in order for you to move in this direction that you were meant to go in. And sometimes when we have certain people in our life, it can be an attachment that's stopping us from moving into our destiny and our blessings. And so I would say that that is the main reason why this connection needed to end. So in the extended reading, we're going to be looking at, what do we want to look at? I wish I could have like a little quick vote for this. I'm just going to ask Spirit, what should we go into for the extended? Six of Wands. Yeah, Spirit wants to go into what kind of victory you're going to be going, like what you're headed into, because I feel like there's something with this like shooting star and the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is all about victory and positive recognition. And so maybe that right now you're feeling lonely or undervalued or just unseen. But I feel like Spirit's saying that there is an era coming up where through following your inspiration, I feel like you're going to get some sort of success or accolades. And so I feel like Spirit wants to go into what you have to look forward to and give you more information about what's coming next in this next phase of your life. And then we'll also be getting, I just want to get quick messages from this person here you were thinking about to get you a sense of closure. From their higher self. So if you want closure from this person's higher self and also more information about what next phase you're headed into, I will have that link down below. And if you just want to support the channel, that's one of the best ways to do it. Other than that, if you want to enter the free giveaway for a guidance or a love reading, just make sure that you've commented on any video in April. Make sure you like this video and are subscribed with your notifications on, because I'll be announcing at the end of the month who won, and I'll be coordinating with you through that post. So make sure you have that on, and I hope to see you at the next Pick a Card reading.